What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam. Hope you guys are doing phenomenal today, man. Hope you guys have had a great weekend. Hope you guys are ready for week 14 of the 2022 NFL season, for week 14 of 2022 fantasy football. An extremely important week here, guys. Majority of you guys will be going into the playoffs next weekend. It's crazy. This season has come. It's almost gone. It's been a great season overall. So we got a lot to get into. We got some high stakes starts and sits. You guys know what time it is, man. Time for some live week 14 fantasy Q&A. So hop in the live chat, man. Let me know what you guys need. Start, sits, ads, drops, roster confidence, roster non-confidence, injury updates, weather updates, whatever it may be. Let me know, man. Let's have some fun today. Let's talk some fantasy football. We got about an hour until the 1 o'clock games kick off. So, looking at injuries, nothing too notable outside of Saquon Barkley is expected to play today. So Barkley should be good to go after dealing with a neck injury throughout the week. He is suiting up, listed as active. So I say if you own Barkley, he's your RB5 in all scoring formats. We go ahead and continue to roll with Saquon Barkley. I just can't imagine sitting a guy like Barkley. So Saquon, good to go. Outside of that, don't really have any pressing injury updates that we did not hit yesterday. So we should be good to go, but we'll keep an eye on things. Let's check the weather very, very quickly here. Let's see. Weather week 14. Let's see. Ravens at Steelers. Oh, you know what? Oh, yeah. Okay, this is right. I just want to make sure. No precipitation. A little bit of wind. Yeah, nothing really there. Yeah. Oh, this is just going through every single game. Okay. Yeah, really no injury or no weather concerns today overall, which is a good thing. I mean, you got some winds here and there, but nothing crazy. Eagles at Giants, you might have a little bit of rain and snow. Same with the Jets and Bills, but it's not expected to really impact anything. Nothing too crazy there. So we're talking like very light rain and snow. But overall, yeah, looks like a little bit of a cold, windy day, but a little bit of precipitation those two games. But overall, nothing that we should be too majorly concerned about as we approach the weekend. All right, let's hop in the live chat, man. Oh, man, it's cutting off the top of the chat again. I don't know why it's been doing this lately. Olrak, I can see your name, but I can't see your question. Just let me, I can only see, wait, Robert Woods, Everett, or Knight. Are those your only three? Oh, Corey Davis, DPJ. Full PPR, need receiver and flex. DPJ, Corey Davis, Woods, Everett, or Knight. I'd probably go with DPJ and Corey Davis. I want it to be Zamir Knight, but I just worry with Carter out there. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like those are the two safest starts, but I won't be surprised if Knight has a good game as well. But good to see Olrak. If you need me to go through any more of that, I'm like squinting through I don't know why it cuts off the top of the chat these days. Smokey, what's up, bro? How are you doing, man? Rashad or Foreman today? That's a tough one. I do like Foreman. It's a good matchup for him, of course, but what I'll say is, like, there's definitely a possibility that the Panthers end up playing from behind in this game, which will impact Foreman's overall volume, which will impact, I just feel like the game script potentially for Foreman is not the best, but I do really like him in terms of the matchup. Obviously, going up against Seattle, they have struggled against opposing running backs, where on the other hand, Rachaad White is going to be in a game script where the Buccaneers, in my belief, are going to have to throw the football, probably playing from behind, I would say for a majority of that game. And the Buccaneers like to dump the football off to their running backs, including Rachaad White. So I think that White is also a pretty safe start. I like Foreman more, but I like the game script more for Rachaad White. Because when we've seen some of these games for the Panthers where they kind of get behind the things, it does not benefit Donta Foreman, let's see. That game is at Seattle. So on the season, his worst games have been away games. Outside of Week 8 at Atlanta, that game was just a shootout. He had 3 touchdowns. But, you know, at Baltimore in week 11, 2.4 points. At Cincy in week 9, 4.1 points. But, you know, Sam Darnold wasn't quarterback back in those days. So I don't know if that impacts this game a little bit differently and benefits Foreman. You know, he had 113 rushing yards on the ground week 12 against Denver. So I like Foreman. I don't mind White. How do you feel about it, Smokey? Who are you leaning towards? Chase, what's up, man? It's good to see you, bro. How are you doing? Najee Harris or Jamal Williams, man. I just can't imagine benching Jamal Williams right now. It's a good competitive game script. I just, he's so safe, you know. And like Najee Harris is pretty safe too, like just not a high ceiling. But I like Jamal's matchup a little bit better going up against the Vikings as opposed to Najee versus the Ravens. So I'll go Jamal Williams. He's just been so incredibly consistent, man. Mr. Sarcastic, good morning. Good to see you. What's up, guys? Good to have you guys today. Filoni, what's up, man? Foreman or Homer Simpson in my flex? I go Foreman. You know, I have to admit I'm a little bit worried about Homer. Like I just have a you know, because it is kind of being reported that DJ Dallas not going to play. But Tony Jones is still going to have a role. It's been so confusing with the Seahawks backfield. But I just worry that Homer could end up being kind of like the running back who gets the receiving work, who was kind of out there on like maybe third down. And then we see a good sprinkle of Tony Jones in there as well. I just feel like it's a little bit risky to go ahead and just rely on Homer for the day, you know? We kind of talked about this last night. Pete Carroll has done some interesting things in the past when running backs have been hurt, you know? So I just kind of worry about him as like a bona fide starter. So, I mean, you know, he's got the 1 receiving touchdown in week 12. Outside of that, like, any production he's gotten on the season has been purely from receptions and receiving yards. So, I'm not completely out on Homer. I'm just saying be optimistic if you guys are relying on him. I would not start him over guys that have been productive on the season, like Donta Foreman, so I'll go Foreman. Albert, what's good, bro? Good to see you, man. High upside, low risk. What's going on? Good morning, good morning. Need 1 flex, non-PPR, Travis, Homer, Pierce, Knight, or Cook. For the Jets, Bam starting, Robinson inactive. Much appreciated. Yeah, I'm definitely not worried about James Robinson, but I'm worried about Michael Carter, who is active this week. So, and then he's still got Ty Johnson floating around too, who's been productive as of late. So, I worry about Bam Knight. Like, I just don't know what we're going to get out of him, man. It's a really tough call. You know, 5 targets in week 13, 3 in week 12. Outside of that, he's been good on the ground. 90 rushing yards in week 13, 69 in week 12. It's a tougher matchup this week in week 14 against the Buffalo Bills in comparison to the Vikings and the Bears. So I'm not out on Bam Knight, but I just worry that his ultimate ceiling is going to be a little bit capped. Because this is going to be a committee at this point. But with that being said, I have concerns about Travis Homer. And I don't want to start Dameon Pierce going up against the Cowboys defense in a game script that could really, really put the Texans offense at a disadvantage. So I probably go James Cook, then Bam Knight, then Homer, then Pierce. Let me know what you think, man. Tough calls, man. Feeling the pressure here. This is a really important week for you guys. So just keep in mind, guys, I'm giving my honest, best overall advice, my thoughts, my opinions. But just always keep in mind, right? We're a community where you guys can come out and talk fantasy, ask my advice, not saying it's always going to be 100%, and bounce ideas off of each other, come out, talk fantasy, and try and give you guys the best possible lineups on a weekly basis. But man, such an important week for you guys. Feeling the pressure. All right, Albert, Goff or Cousins? Ooh, good question, man. And it's interesting because both these teams could definitely get a position where they are going to try and keep the opposing defense honest or run the ball, but I really see both these guys just slinging it around all day. I mean, I think it's going to be a fun game. Lots of offensive points. So I'd probably go It's really close, man. Because, like, frankly, I don't see a crazy difference between the two. I don't. I think they both get you, like, 18 plus fantasy points, you know? Call me crazy, but I'll go Goff. Give me Goff. How do you feel about it, Albert? Bud Smoker, what's up, man? Palmer, James Cook, and non-PPR. And non-PPR, I'll probably go Cook. Elliot, what's up, man? Good luck to you today, bro. Good to see you. What's up? What's up? Orak. Okay, good. We hit that one. Thank you for retyping it, though. Yeah, I'd probably go DPJ and Corey Davis and full PPR. How do you feel about it, man? Elliot, as a Lamar manager who has Goff in there this week at the Jets next week, beat the wire with Mike White versus Detroit or Huntley and Cleveland for the next week. Appreciate the help. Yeah, I'd probably go Mike White, then Goff, then Huntley. I think Mike White's going to have a nice week against Detroit. And especially keep an eye on Mike White today. Like, if he plays well, he's played well the last 2 weeks. Kind of struggled at the beginning of last week's game, but was able to kind of bring that momentum back. But keep an eye on him today. If he plays well against the Bills, then I for sure go with Mike White next week. But you can definitely still consider Goff, and then kind of vice versa. Keep an eye on, might not be the best comparison, but keep an eye on Josh Allen today. How does this Jets defense look against the Bills today and the Bills passing game? But once again, Goff versus Allen, not the best comparison, but you get what I'm saying. We got to Orak, of course. High upside, low risk. Need to start 2 flex, half PPR. Slayton, Pickens, Homer, or Pirine. Thank you, brother. Yeah, you know, like I woke up to Pirine getting. I have in one of my leagues, Pirine was against me, and I was actually kind of concerned about him, and he got dropped. And I felt good about that. I think Pirine's going to actually have a pretty decent day. I mean, they get the Browns. You got Mixon coming off concussion. I think Mixon's going to have a nice day too. Don't get me wrong, but like, I just can't imagine. You know, Pirine with 7 targets in his last 2 games, 19 or more fantasy points in his last 3 games. I just can't imagine that he's not going to be involved in this game plan, you know? Especially with the Bengals. I mean, they're going to be a playoff team, right? Like, a lot of the season left, but like the running back position just want to try and stay healthy. So I think you keep Pirine in the flex, man, and then I go Darius Slayton. And I don't want to be too out on George Pickens because Pickens had a bad week last week, visibly frustrated, all that. And the Ravens secondary overall from a fantasy perspective hasn't played very good. So, like, if you like Pickens here over either player, I think Pickens is okay. But the way I look at Slayton in a tough matchup, at the end of the day, I think he's still a solid play because the Giants should be playing from behind. You know, Danny Dimes going to sling the football around and have to target Slayton. So I still like Slayton, even if his ceiling is capped in a bad matchup. Eugene, what's up, man? Good to see you, bro. Good morning, good morning. All my wide receivers are on bye week. Need one from the Texans, Dorsett or Chris Moore. Ooh. Both bad options, but playoffs is secure. Just need to fill in. I'd probably go Dorsett. But, yeah, I don't. That's all you can pick are the Texans wide receivers. At least you're in the playoffs, though. I mean, gosh, Dorsett has not been productive at all. I guess I go Chris Moore. 7.6 points. I mean, since week 9, 7.3 or more points in every matchup except for week 12 at Miami. So I go Chris Moore. He's been more productive than Dorsett. Elliott, Bellinger, or Henry? I go Henry, but I do like Bellinger today. But I feel like Bellinger's a little bit touchdown dependent today. But I'll go Henry. It's just a really good matchup. The Cardinals have been so bad against tight ends. So give me Henry. Pittsburgh or Seattle? I will go with Seattle personally. I just feel like they're a lot safer. I'm worried about the Steelers secondary. Orak, Treylon Burks is out. Do you think Keeney or Keeney will do good versus Jacksonville? Definitely has an opportunity. He's kind of like he doesn't get a ton of production on a consistent basis. Like 8 targets in week 10, 2 in week 11, 6 in week 12, 2 in week 13. Like, just very, very inconsistent in terms of the potential production. So, in games where he's had 6 or more targets, he's played pretty well from a fancy. Well, I mean, 9.8 or more. I don't know, man. Just a lot of boomer bust here. Like, if you could avoid starting him, I probably would. You know, I think Robert Woods as well. It's just so tough to look at today. You know, like you're just kind of throwing a dart here, whether you go with Woods or Westbrook-Akini. So I would try to avoid doing so, but Jacksonville hasn't looked great defensively, so I get it. Elliot, lots of rumbling about Chig in Tennessee. There definitely is, and I just don't want to pull the trigger too soon. Like, we kind of talk about this. When you see, like, a tight end just be productive for a week or two, just kind of, it's just so tough. You have to pump your brakes. And, like, you know, a really good example is Austin Hooper on the same team. Week 10, 9.1 points. Week 11, 19.6. Week 12, 6. Week 13, 5.2. So he kind of had that spike, then kind of came back to earth. Now you got Chig in week 12, 6.5 points. Week 13, 10.8 points. You know? I mean, don't get me wrong. The offensive coordinator has come out and said that he's earned more opportunities. But, like, ultimately, I mean, I guess the advantage is, like we just talked about, the Titans don't really utilize the wide receiver position. But at the end of the day, they don't really utilize the pass game either. Like, this is a team that's playing defense, has a good pass rush, has a good run defense. I mean, obviously, they're not playing defense when it comes to the secondary, but then they're running the football quite a bit. So I'm not out on Chig. I'm not doubting him, but I would just be kind of cautious, you know. But tight ends have been just so incredibly awful this year. I don't blame anyone for talking about Chig, you know what I'm saying? Tony Jones starting, yeah. So I definitely think that Tony Jones is going to make an impact today, which is part of the reason why we've been so cautious around Homer. Because, like, listen, I guess we don't really know who's going to get the bulk of the volume here, but I think it'll be a little bit of a mix of Homer and Jones. So I just feel like this is like a handcuff trap, like we see this happen, right, where sometimes you pick up the backup running back and they absolutely ball out, and then you have plenty of times where you pick up a backup running back and they do nothing for you. And, like, so I would just really continue to say, if you did go out and pick up Homer, just be really cautious. Don't start him, even in a pretty good matchup, over guys who've been productive all season long. I just feel like it's far too risky here in week 14. Eddie, what's up, man? Need a flex, full PPR, Najee or Pierce, or Najee, Najee or Pierce. Bye weeks are killing me. I go Najee. I do not like Dameon Pierce today. If you start Dameon Pierce, like, you're just purely hoping that he scores a touchdown early on, that the Cowboys have a faulty drive, or that there's some garbage time points where he comes up, you know. But overall, we look at the potential game script here. We look at the matchup. It's just not what we want for a guy like Dameon Pierce. You know, these games where the Texans are playing from behind, they abandon the run game and they can't move the football otherwise. So it's just like such a trap. And I think the Cowboys are just going to run the clock out against an awful run defense and really let their defense do some damage to this Texans team, man. Goff or Prescott? What's up, Finn? I actually probably go Goff here because once again, I visualize that game script being a lot more beneficial for Jared Goff as opposed to Dak Prescott, who probably won't need to throw the football very often today. So Prescott's still a safe floor, but I go with Goff. I think that's going to be a shootout between the Lions and Vikings. So kind of faulty defenses right now. I go with Goff. You know, keep in mind with a guy like Prescott, like who I still think is a safe start, is a fine start, but the Texans overall in the season have played pretty well from a fantasy perspective against opposing receivers and opposing quarterbacks. Part of that, you know, is because it's so easy to run the football against them, you know, and it's so easy to hold a lead against them that opposing quarterbacks and receivers don't need to do as much work. But ultimately, I think the Cowboys are going to run the football a ton today, man. But I don't know. I said the same thing about the Browns last week against the Texans, and they had a pretty good mix, so we'll see. All right, Mike Kimsel, what's going on, man? 14-team league, 3 wide receiver spots on each team, so the waiver wire is super thin. Demarcus Robinson or Kyle Hinton? That's a close one. That's a close one, man. Because Robinson has been like, I don't know, I called him Kyle, Kendall Hinton, but like both are super risky. Robinson's been super disappointing since we like thought maybe there was a chance he was going to be a wide receiver 1 for the Ravens. Been very inconsistent since. Hinton gets like potential increase in volume, and I say potential because like on any other team it'd be like an increase in volume, but he's on the Broncos, and like I just don't know what we get out of this offense on a weekly basis, man. So I mean, we know Cortland Sutton's out, but even in a good matchup against the Chiefs, man, it's like, can we trust Hinton? You know, 10.2 fantasy points in Week 10 against like the worst secondary in the league in Tennessee. You know, it's just tough. Very inconsistent. Week 10, 62 receiving yards. Week 11, 57. Week 12, 35. Week 13, 11. When we look at Robinson, who's also been incredibly inconsistent, at least he's potentially lining up. I mean, you still got Duvernay out there, but really Robinson's lining up as a wide receiver 1. I think that Duvernay is more of like a Swiss Army knife receiver, for lack of a better term. But oh gosh, it's so tough. Pittsburgh's secondary's been so bad. I'd probably go Robinson. You know, you'd imagine that Tyler Huntley's going to be looking for some playmakers out there. I guess I go Robinson. Hopefully it's not a must-win situation for you, man. Gob, good morning. What's up, bro? Good to see you, man. Tua, Goff, or Brady? I got to go Tua here. I like Goff today. I think Brady's going to throw the football a lot against the Niners, whether they're ultimately successful or not. But I got to go Tua, man. Just a good, competitive game script for Tua versus the Chargers. You know, it's we're in a Tua and Herbert back-to-back selections in that draft, you know. Sunday Night Football. 2 good offenses, 2 defenses that have been okay on the season, but for the sake of fantasy, hopefully bend tonight and give us a good game script. I go Tua, man. Sam, Saquon or James Cook? You got to go Saquon. If you own Saquon, don't sit him. Just you can't risk the upside not being in your starting lineup. Aguilar, Westbrook, Chris Moore, Dorsett, Pirine need to play 2 of the 5 in full PPR. Wow. Chris Moore and Pirine. Or you could go Westbrook and Pirine. But out of those options, definitely Pirine. Jane, good morning. What's going on? Hello, hello, hello. Good to see you. How are you doing? Jane, I really need you to win today. So can you please try and do that? You know, I really need you to win. It would help me out a lot. So can you figure that out? I don't know how your team has so many losses, because your team is like really nice. But you've beaten me twice this year. Can you just beat someone else, please? I really would. It could be like a good Christmas gift if you just beat. I forgot who you play, but I need you to beat them. I got a lot of things that need to go right for me in that league today. Elliot, what line of questions do you have? Hey, sometimes I do ask you guys, like, what are your thoughts? I feel pretty good about my my lineups for the day. I might run through them at the end during the end of the stream, but I feel pretty good. I mean, like, I don't want to win every matchup, but I feel like I have the best lineup out there potentially. Ray Gamer, what's up, man? Start 1 running back in standard. Pierce, Knight, Cook, or Chuba. I'd probably go Cook. Cook or Knight. Worried about Pierce for sure. I don't love Chuba. I'd probably go Cook. Ray Gamer, start 1 in standard for flex. Evans, Debo, Chark, Palmer, or McKenzie. Wow, isn't that crazy that at this point in the season we're like asking Debo or Evans over Chark or McKenzie or even Palmer, you know? I do actually kind of like Palmer this week, even with Williams back, but I feel like you got to go with Evans or Debo. maybe go Debo. But in standard, like I do think you can definitely consider guys like Chark and Palmer who have a good chance to score. J-Dubs, what's going on, man? Good morning. Hello, hello. Smokey leaning Rashad. Other option would be Pacheco playing Najee. I think go Rashad. Pacheco's interesting as well. J-Dubs, congrats on 3K subs, by the way. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for 3K subs. Ray, Huber. Oh, yeah, I caught that. Chuba versus the Panthers. I caught it. J-Dubs, Rashad White or Hollywood. I would say probably Hollywood, but Rashad White is okay, too. J-Dubs, Jeff Wilson or Mike Williams. Jeff Wilson for a floor, Mike Williams for upside. I think Wilson's going to bounce back against a bad Chargers run defense, but like I don't have a problem throwing Mike Williams out there. Kicks for Mike. What's up, man? Flex, PPR, Judy, Homer, Pierce, Cook, Dobbins. I go Judy. Good matchup. Sutton's out. I'll go Judy. Dante, what's up, man? Najee or Knight? I'll go Najee. I'm really worried about Carter being out there and what it's going to look like for Knight. Michael, Hawks, Steelers, Cardinals. I go with the Seahawks. I go with the Seahawks and the Cardinals and the Steelers. Damian Pierce or Homer. Man, that's a tough one. I guess I go Homer. I'm not a giant fan of Homer today, but I'm really not a fan of Damian Pierce. So I'll go Homer. As long as it's full PPR. If it was like another scoring format, I might go Pierce. And just cross your fingers he gets like a garbage time score. But I just can't look at this game script in this matchup for Damian Pierce and like it, you know. Deron, White or Fournette? Probably White. But like your guess is as good as mine. But I'll probably go White. J-Dubs, John, have you thought about doing a Dynasty Catch Family? I think it would be fun. I've definitely thought about it. I just have to kind of figure out how we'd make that work. Because there's like 3,000 of you guys. And obviously, like, probably less than like 5% of you guys would actually be interested. But I've definitely thought about it. And I think that's probably going to be something that does happen in the off season. So I got to get through this fantasy season. Then I was already actually thinking like literally yesterday about making my schedule for the off season, and there'll be some things in the works for sure, man. Sport Dog, 12 team, half PPR. 2 questions I have: Njoku or Conklin for tight end? Should I use both and put one in my flex? Due to the buys, only other players would be Corey Davis, who run 2 tight ends or use Davis. I would go Njoku and Corey Davis. I feel like Corey Davis will probably see better volume than Conklin, so I will go Njoku at tight end, then I would flex Corey Davis personally. Prey, what's up, man? Good to see you, bro. What up, what up? No Scar, what's going on, man? Welcome to it. Should I start Niners or Eagles defense? I gotta go Niners. Gotta go with the Niners. I mean, Eagles are fine, but I just feel like the Niners are playing such good football on the defensive side of things that you gotta go with the Niners, so... Mr. Sarcastic, start 2 receivers, Kirk, D-Hop, Waddle. Jeez. I guess I go D-Hop and Kirk because Waddle's coming off the injury, but I can't believe I'm saying that. But Kirk has just such a good matchup, and D-Hop's volume is just crazy. And if we have to point out one negative, it's that Waddle was banged up last week. So I guess I go with those 2. But I feel like you're not going to, no matter what, you have good starts here. Ray Gamer, I feel like it's going to come down to Evans and Debo again. Start 3, Evans, Debo, or Hollywood. Debo and Hollywood. Tough. Oh, or Lamb. Hollywood and Lamb, then. Oh, start 3. Debo, Hollywood, Lamb, but very, very close, man. Super close. I do feel like Mike Evans is due for like when we're all doubting him, he's not really looking his best. I feel like he's due for like a good game. So that's a tough call. This looked non-existent last week. And his production overall in the last couple of weeks hasn't looked good either. Let's see here. Jeff, Judy, or Hollywood in the flex? I go Hollywood. But I do think Judy's going to have a pretty good day. I just feel like Hollywood's a little bit safer. I just have trust issues with the Broncos offense. We got you, Mike Kimsel. Space Goes, what's up, bro? I'm going Waddle, St. Brown, Kirk, sitting D-Hop. Wish me luck. I'm good at that. Like, I can't imagine sitting D-Hop, but, like, am I going to argue against Waddle, St. Brown, and Kirk? No. Red Gamer, I already dropped Judy, so my opponent couldn't get a defense. Nice. Liam, what's up? Tony Jones or Mostart? I go Mostart. Good matchup for him. We know what to expect. I just go Mostart here. Duran, James Cook or Cooper? I'll go James Cook. Nah. It's a tough call. Cooper's volume was down last week. It's... At Cincinnati, give me Cook, but I still think you can easily argue for Cooper here. And I still think Singletary is going to get like 10 plus touches today. I still think like we have to see a good run game for the Bills overall for Cook to have a productive day. But I go Cook. Jane, you don't need to win. Your season's over. Oh wait. Well, you do need to win. I need you to win. Please win. Cash Stylist, what's up? Cody Bellinger or Fant? Looking at matchup, I'd probably go Noah Fant, but I won't be surprised if Bellinger outscores him. So, it's close there. But I'll go Fant. But as J-Dub says, yeah, super close. I think these guys could easily outscore each other. That's just how tight ends are looking right now. Gob, Cooper's active, but I'm worried. Do I sit him and move Debo to wide receiver? Need flex. So Foreman, Wilson, or Hollywood. Yeah, I would rather start all those guys over Cooper right now. So I'd probably put Hollywood in the flex, but I wouldn't necessarily count out Foreman or Jeff Wilson. Jeff, I dropped Palmer for Dobbins. I have Amon-Ra, Waddle, Hollywood, Judy, Pickens. For running back, Saquon, Eckler, Patterson, White. Thoughts on that? I think that's fine. You know, you've got pretty good receivers here. Like, you're starting Amon-Ra, Waddle, and Hollywood anyways. I think Palmer will actually continue to be relatively productive, even with Williams back. But looking at running back depth at this point in the season and potentially getting a starter, I think is perfectly fine, man. Rich, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Good luck to you as well. Can I trust Waddle this week with the injury last week, or should I go Thielen versus Lions? Playing Lockett and Wilson is my other two. Yeah, I mean, if you've already got really solid starts in Lockett and Wilson, then I probably go ahead and I roll with Waddle. But I think that Thielen is a good option. If you just got to ask yourself the question: how concerned are you about the injury? How much do you think it potentially limits Waddle? It's a really close call, but I just can't imagine like. I just wouldn't bench a guy like Waddle personally, especially when you have really safe starts in Lockett and Wilson. Like, I think you go and you go with Waddle. But Thielen is a good start this week. I do like him this week. Joe, pick two. One must be a running back, Knight, Cook, and Njoku. Full PPR. Probably Cook and Njoku. But if you go Cook and Knight, I'm not completely against it just because we don't really know the full scale of this passing attack for the Browns. Gamer, this is what scares me. My opponent's team: Burrow, Hill, Diggs, Pacheco, Singletary, Kittle, Etienne, Bengals, and Greg the Leg. They are in first. It is scary. Gino or excuse me, Gino or Kyler. That's a tough call. I'll go Gino. I think Gino's going to have a good day, but I think Kyler's still going to have a good day against Patriots defense, but I'll go Gino. Eagles or Chiefs? I go with the Chiefs. Palmer, Dortch, or Corey Davis? That's a tough call, too. I probably go Corey Davis, but I think Palmer's perfectly fine in full PPR. I might actually go Palmer over Davis. Geno, Chiefs, Palmer. How do you feel about it? Gamer, next week I play against Chubb, Jacobs, Chase, Mahomes, 2 best teams in the league. That team also has Bills defense, Tucker, Hawkinson. Jeez. You never know. You never know. God, have a great rest of the day. Thanks for the help with the fantasy football advice. Looking forward to your off-season content. Sounds good, bro. Have a great day, man. Have a safe Sunday. Have some fun. Watch some football. I appreciate you, bro. All right, sorry, I lost my spot. Barb, Flex, Carter, or Pirine. I go Pirine. I think Pirine's going to have a decent day. Still going to be involved in this game plan. It's just a really good matchup for him. But Carter's okay, too. But obviously, both these guys, you know, have kind of formed committees. Like, Carter's probably your RB1, but I think Knight and Johnson are still involved. And then Pirine's the RB2 now, but, and obviously Mixon is a very, very good football player. But I still think Pirine, with what we've seen in the last 3 weeks, is going to be involved. Eugene, instead of Houston Texans wide receiver, should I play Parker? I mean, it's not much better, to be honest. Maybe. I just... It's not much better. If you feel better about it, sure. Steven Jones, a tough spot. Homer or Jones? Hat PPR. Hearing that Jones will get the start, but I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. This is what we've been worried about all weekend long, you know? Like, this is what I've been telling you guys to be cautious about when it comes to Homer. You got to look at who do you think will score, because I feel like Homer brings kind of that receiving upside. I mean, that's really why, I mean, he has that one stat line with the touchdowns, because he has a receiving touchdown. But on the ground, like, Jones probably gives you a better opportunity to score, so... But at the same time, it's a complete gamble. Complete gamble. So, hat PPR, might go Jones, but, like, nobody really knows is the problem. So you got to trust your gut instincts there. Warrior, what's up? Michael Badgley or Suck Up? Badgley. I think Badgley's going to have a really nice day. Looked really good last week. It's another good game script today. I go Badgley. Jock what's up? Schultz or Hunter Henry? That's a tough one. Because, like, ultimately, Schultz is, like, the play. Like, Schultz is the better tight end on the season. Tied to the better offense, undoubtedly. But I just don't know how much the Cowboys need to throw the football today. You know? So you're hoping for a touchdown. Because in, like, game scripts, like, the last couple of weeks... I would say since week 11, where the Cowboys have been in a pretty good position. Unless Schultz scores, he doesn't really bring you any fantasy value. And I feel like they're going to be in a pretty good position today, but he could score early on, you know? I got to go Schultz, though. Like, I like Henry's matchup a lot, and I'm worried about the volume in terms of the passing game for the Cowboys, but I just got to go Schultz. Got to go Schultz. Eddie, report Tony Jones to start over Homer. Yeah, see, like, it's what I warned you guys about all weekend long. I think that Homer will still be involved, still get some receiving work, but I really haven't been a fan of starting any of the Seahawks running backs really since the waiver wire video. Like, we talked about that in the chat for the premiere for the waiver videos. Like, I didn't put any Seahawks running backs on here because I just feel like this is too murky of a situation. And by the end of the week, there's a strong potential that we don't know what's going to happen. And we didn't even know, like, there was still a chance that Walker was going to play, which we just kind of got last night that he's not going to play. So, like, it's just been too murky of a situation. And now everyone was going towards Homer. And I really, like, encouraged you guys last night to be very cautious with that move. And now we're getting reports that Tony Jones is going to be the guy. So I ultimately think that both will be involved, right? You get Jones in most of the ground game. Then you get Homer as somebody who's going to get some of that receiving work. It could still bring fantasy value, but just overall, I just am not a huge fan of starting either guy because, like, it's just way too wide open. in terms of the possibilities of what could happen. But yeah, Adam Schefter reporting Tony Jones is starting over Travis Homer. So RB1 versus RB2 can still form a committee. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens. But if you own Homer, take him out of your starting lineup. Unless you're desperate. I mean, we'll continue to look at this. All right. Glock guy. Fournette or White? I go White. Sport Dog half-point PPR yesterday. We talked about my two flexes, White and Palmer. Forgot to let you know I have Jay Williams. Do you have any idea who to use? Excuse me, or should I leave it alone? If it's Jamal Williams, go Jamal over Palmer. If it's J-Mo on the other Williams on the Lions, then keep Palmer in. Ray Gamer, official lineup this week. Still undecided on RB2, but we'll figure it out. We got Kyler Murray, CeeDee Lamb, Hollywood Brown, King Henry, Cook or Knight. Still thinking Noah Fant, Mike Evans, Jason Myers, Dallas defense. Yeah, I mean, looks pretty good to me. It is a really tough call there at the running back position, though. But I still feel like your lineup looks pretty good. Richie, what's good, bro? Good to see you, man. Mike White or Goff? I'll go Goff. Give me Goff. Rich, if I have a bye week the first week of the playoffs, should I hold on to Gallup in case someone gets hurt? Should I pick up the best kicker and defense matchup now? I would probably hold Gallup. But depending on what you have to drop and what the rest of your roster looks like, it's not a bad idea to go out and get a defense. But if you have a consistent kicker, I do think you probably just stick with that kicker. It can get kind of messy when we try to look at matchups for kickers. I would just try to look at consistency at the position. Yeah, Cooper more than likely on a pitch count is a good call, Duran. Rick, Hollywood or Mostart? I go Hollywood. Rashad or Mostart? I'd probably go Rashad White. Reports Cooper would be on a pitch count. Should I play Chark over him? I think that's fine, KJ. I didn't really like Cooper going into the day anyways because, once again, we just don't have a full scale of this passing attack for the Browns. We don't really know, like, the full chemistry between Watson and Cooper, but the volume was okay last week. Like, he got enough targets, but the production, just from a fantasy perspective, wasn't great. So I do think as the weeks continue to go on, the Browns offense, Watson will improve, but it's just not the best strength of schedule. And Chark has a good matchup. Chark has a good game script. So if you go Chark, I think that's fine. Bryce, Njoku or Komet rest of season? I'd probably go Komet. It was very close. Very, very close. Once again, it comes down to, like, I kind of trust the direction of the Bears offense and their passing attack for the rest of the season, because at the end of the day, we just don't know what to expect out of the Browns. And when it comes to the Bears, even if they're not in playoff contention, this is a team really trying to figure out their identity, which they basically have established, but continuing to establish that identity. And I think that Fields to Komet is a real thing. So it's very close. Very, very close. But I feel like the Bears aren't going to take foot off the gas. When we look at David Njoku, don't get me wrong, man. I think David Njoku's completely fine. Against Baltimore, the Saints, Washington, it's not too bad of a strength of schedule. Actually, I take that back because the Saints and the Commanders have played well against the position. So I might go Komet ultimately, but Komet gets Philly, Buffalo, Detroit. I just feel like those game scripts feel a little bit better to me. I'd probably go Komet. But it's definitely close, man. Trust your gut there, Bryce. Elliot, it's cool listening to someone in the fantasy space that doesn't let ego take over. As you keep getting bigger, keep doing you. Much respect. I appreciate that, bro. Very kind of you to say that, man. Yeah, just kind of like taking it day by day and just kind of doing me, like you're saying. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. John, what's up, man? Ayuk or Pirine for the flex? That's a tough one. I feel like the floor play has got to be Brandon Ayuk, but the upside lies with Pirine. So, I would say under normal circumstances we go Ayuk, but with the quarterback change, he still had 9 targets last week ultimately, but Uh, it's tough. It's a tough call. Floor play is Ayuk. Upside lies with Pirine against the Browns, even with Mixon healthy. Super C&B, what's up, man? James Cook, Travis Homer, Tony Jones. James Cook. Joscan, I've got Keenan starting, but someone dropped Mike Williams in my league. Should I pick him up and start him over Keenan? I probably just roll with Keenan Allen, but if you want to pick up Mike Williams, that's fine. But Keenan's been like very consistent the last couple games, so I probably keep Keenan Allen in there. Got like 2 touchdowns his last 2 games, so I mean Williams always brings that upside, but it's perfectly fine to pick up Mike Williams. But I think you stick with Keenan Allen. Tony Jones or Jeff Wilson this week? I go Jeff Wilson for sure. DJ White or Wilson? I'm assuming that's Jeff Wilson. I'd probably go Jeff Wilson here. Bryce Komet or Greg D? Rest of the season? Komet. I just can't trust Broncos player. Very close there. Let's see how Greg Dulcich plays today. How do you feel about DJ Chark today? I think that Chark is a good start, a good flex player. I like this matchup between the Vikings and the Lions. I think that this is ultimately a game where we're going to see both teams throwing the football quite a bit. So I'm good with DJ Chark, man. He's looked decent enough the last 2 weeks. Ray, Chark will get targets, possibly high-scoring game, good game script. He's been decent every game. Lions will throw the ball, but not at the goal line like they do every week. They will run there, yeah. PPR value is definitely good for Chark. Bam Knight or Donta Foreman? I would go Donta Foreman personally. Worried about Michael Carter's return for Bam Knight. Foreman, maybe worried about the game script if the Seahawks get behind, or excuse me, the Panthers get behind against the Seahawks, but I like Foreman. It's a good matchup overall. Elliot, if y'all could only start one, Swift or Jamal? Jamal is kind of the floor play. Swift is the upside, so it just depends. Like, if you feel good about your matchup, you probably just lean with Jamal. If you want the upside, potentially more points but more risk, go with Swift. I mean, I have a league where I literally own both of them, and I mean, I'm just starting both of them because what else can you really do, you know? So it's been tough making the call. Like, I think last week was like the first week in a while where I benched Swift, and I still won, but he had a way better game than he had. So it's just tough, man. It's tough. It's tough. All right, let's see. Ray Gamer says Knight is expected for a larger role. Yeah, it's just so tough making this call, man. Tough calls. Let's see here. So with Knight, see if I have any update. Zonovan Knight expected to maintain key role. So of course, after I make the opposite argument, we get this report. With Michael Carter ankle back from a 1-game absence and James Robinson inactive, ESPN.com relays that Jets will roll with a Week 14 backfield of Knight, Carter, Johnson. Yeah, of course. Though it's noted that Carter is in line to see his share of touches in his return, and Johnson's a candidate to see third down work, he suggests that Knight could claim a larger role to carry Sunday on the heels of 2 strong efforts filling in for Carter. In such a context, Knight should continue to offer a degree of Week 14 fantasy utility versus a Buffalo defense that has yielded an average of 101.8 rushing yards per game to date. This is why I hate committees. I mean, I would still be cautious. There's just a cap ceiling here at the end of the day. But it's a good update, Ray, for sure. I appreciate it, man. We'll continue to dissect it as we go through the stream. Dominic, Pacheco or Wilson? Pacheco for a 4, Wilson for a little bit more risk, but more upside and a good matchup. KJ, Robbie Gold, Dicker the Kicker, or Myers? You got to go Myers, bro. He's been playing way too good. Got to go Myers, top 5 guy. But I do like Robbie Gold this week. Dominic, or play both and set Mike Williams. I might set Mike Williams in his return. Call me crazy. Ray, for you, I might go Knight it's a little bit riskier, but I might take the upside in looking at your matchup. Trust your gut, though. TMG, Huntley, Mike White, or Brady? I go Mike White. Cash Stylist, Hinton or Corey Davis? I go Corey Davis. Should be a better game script there. DC Hogs, Cooks or White? Wow, not the only one who has this question, right? Well, I'm assuming it's James Cook, right? Because Brandon Cooks is like never playing again. Yeah, he's out. I'll go Rashad White. Sorry, for a second I was thinking that said Cook or Knight, but it's Cooks or White. I go Rashad White. Dante, Najee, Knight, or Tony Jones? Najee for a floor. If you want a little bit more risk, more upside, go Knight. Kells, Slayton, or Fournette? I go Slayton. I like Slayton today. Kansas or Baltimore defense? That's a close one. Both are really good starts, Kells. Give me Kansas City, but it's close. Zay Jones or Darius Slayton the flex? Slayton for a floor, Zay Jones for upside. A little bit more risk associated with Zay Jones, but just such a good matchup for Jones. Like, I feel like Slayton's been a little bit more consistent, but the better start overall. Looking at matchup, I just feel like Zay Jones has such a good opportunity today. Like, the Titans secondary's been so incredibly bad. You know, is Trevor Lawrence going to play? Suiting up Sunday. Okay. I just wanted, like, we didn't have a for sure answer on T-Law. Kind of waiting to get that. Zonovan or James Cook? Oh, it's so close. So close. Who would you guys start? Because we've got more than one person. Zonovan, Knight, or James Cook? Who do you guys like more? Because let's face it, Zonovan's got Michael Carter there. James Cook has Devin Singletary there. So it's still very close between these two. Jacob, what's up, man? Good to see you. Boyd or Zay Jones? I go with Zay Jones. Like, Boyd has, you know, as soon as you said Tyler Boyd, he'll probably have a good game. But, like, he's just been really disappointing as of late. Still had 10 points last week. But, like, dropped a wide open touchdown. Had, like, 3 really good matchups while Jamar Chase was out. 9.4 points against Carolina wasn't too bad, but then 6.2 against Pittsburgh and 3.6 against Tennessee was really disappointing when we look at those secondaries. So I probably just take the upside and go Zay Jones in a good matchup. Andrea, what's going on? Rashad White or Zamir Knight? It's very close, but I like Rashad White this week. I'll stick with White. But it looks like Zamir Knight reported that he's going to get a good amount of touches today. So it's just really tough trusting it. I mean, these are both committees, though, at the end of the day. I go Rashad White, though, but it's like it's definitely a close call between the two, without a doubt. Andrew, how you doing, by the way? Good to see you. Hey, what's going on, man? Start Jones or Juju? I go Tony Jones. Like, I don't really like either option, but I go Tony Jones just because the Broncos have been so incredibly good against opposing receivers. I got to go Jones. Don't feel good about Juju today. Do I start Saquon? Yes. I cannot, in good faith, tell you guys to not start Saquon Barkley. And I get it, coming off of the injury and the doubtful status throughout the week. It's a little spooky. I totally get it. But I just can't. Like, I own Barkley in the league, and I'm in a situation that I need to win. Not necessarily a must-win situation, but it would really help my playoff standings if I win, right? And I'm still starting him. Like, I just can't bench a guy like Saquon. Also, if CMC, Connor, and Swift, like, you've got really good options. You know, I mean, like, would your lineup still probably be okay if you go CMC, Connor, and Swift in the flex? That's fine. But, I mean, Saquon is your RB5 on the season. He's played against some really bad run defenses, to be fair, but also some good run defenses. 19.1 points last week against Washington, 15.2 against Dallas, for example. And those are recent starts. 32.4 points in week 1 against Tennessee. His best stat line of the year came against one of the best run defenses in the league. 22.6 in week 3 against Dallas. So Philadelphia is still a good run defense, although they've been not as good as of late. Overall, I should say. They're kind of like, they were banged up, kind of dipped, and they kind of gotten a little bit more established, but I just can't. I could not bench a guy like Barkley, man. Just way too much potential upside sitting on the bench. Jameson, what's up? Zonovan Knight or Dameon Pierce? I got to go Knight. I just don't trust Dameon Pierce against the Cowboys defense today. Just not a good game script for Dameon Pierce at all. Zachary, what's up, man? Good to see you, bro. Rachaad White or Jamal? Full PPR. I might go Rachaad White. He'll get a lot of those dump-off passes. But Jamal Williams, just a really, really safe start. Just feels like he's going to get a rushing touchdown every week. Just like super safe, but especially with Swift kind of coming back on, not the largest ceiling involved there. So I'd probably go White. Let me know what you think about it, man. I think White will be fine. I know it's a bad matchup and everything, but his advantage is that the Bucs probably be in another game script where they need to throw the football, and he'll benefit from that. Andrea, Philly defense or Kansas City? I would personally go Kansas City. I think the Giants are going to play okay today. Everett or Greg Dulcich? I would go Everett, Kels. I think Everett's going to have a good day. It's a good game script involved there. Nice little Sunday night offensive shootout is what I expect, so I go Everett. Tony Jones expected to start. Do I start him over Rachaad White? I don't like the Seahawks running back. I've been saying it all weekend. I just don't trust the Seattle backfield. I'll go Rachaad White, even have PPR. I just think it's too much of a gamble to go with one of Seattle's running backs today. I mean, Seattle's offense is good, don't get me wrong, but I don't feel good about it. Like, if you don't have an established starter and you're desperate, that's one thing. But if you have a guy like Rachaad White who's been playing really well the last 2 weeks and a game script that I think will benefit him, I go Rachaad White. But tough calls. I just like White more. Chris, Davis or Cooper? Cooper not questionable at the moment at Cleveland. Davis home versus Jets. Yeah. So it was reported Cooper might be playing on a snap count. Plus, Cincinnati's played pretty decent. And I don't know, man. I just don't know what to expect out of Watson and this passing attack. So I probably go Davis. Even though Cooper's been the more productive receiver on the season. It's a really tough call, Chris. Olin, what's up? Higgins or Zeke, full PPR? Man, Higgins playing great football. I would not be surprised if Higgins scores today. Would not be surprised if Higgins has a good stat line. But, Zeke is a must-start for me, man, regardless of scoring format. This Houston defense is awful against the run. Zeke has been incredibly consistent. When you look at, literally, what is it, since, week 8? Zeke has just been quietly playing very, very good football. Since week 6, in every game he's played in, 15.6 or more fantasy points and a touchdown or more in all of those games. He missed weeks 8 and week 10, but it's been extremely productive since week 3. The only games he has not scored a touchdown in were against the Commanders and the Rams, who both have, the Rams aren't the same run defense they were as of late, but earlier in the season they were one of the best run defenses, and the Commanders have played well against the run too. So Zeke's been very good this year when healthy. And then outside of that, you just look at the matchup against Houston, I could not bench Zeke today, man. All right, let's see here. Anthony, Gabe Davis or Pickens, PPR. If you want the floor, you go with Pickens, right? A little bit less risk. I think Pickens bounces back from last week. But if you want the upside, you want the risk, you go Gabe Davis. So if you feel like you're at a need for points potentially in You know, if your matchup's a little bit tougher, I'd probably go Gabe Davis. Chris, I have Burrow with Dak as backup. Keep looking at Mike White as possible higher ceiling backup instead of Dak. Is that stupid? Not necessarily, but I still roll with Dak. I don't think it's stupid per se, but like when we look at Mike White's schedule to finish out the year, Buffalo, Detroit, Jacksonville, Seattle, he's got favorable game scripts, and like the Jets in a position where they're going to want to win all of these football games. No reason for them to kind of let off the gas at the end of the season. That is like the one benefit to expanding the playoffs and to making it so the playoffs just have one team on bye week, is that like these end of season games get a lot more competitive. You have a lot more teams fighting for playoff seeding, for fighting for a potential number one seed, and for fighting for a chance to make it into the playoffs, which is ultimately why they changed the rules and everything, outside of wanting to add one more game and outside of wanting to make a lot more money. But like it's good for fantasy as well, and it kind of does pose the question, like, are we going to see a lot more fantasy leagues start to play through week 18? Because at this point it used to be you might have like 8 teams like not really competing in the last game of the season. Now it's kind of like 2 to 4, but even then it's so much harder to get that number one seed that you probably have 1 or 2 teams at best not competing in that last game of the season. So it's interesting. But yeah, when we look at Dak, on the other hand, to get back to your question, I'm sorry. Once again, the Cowboys in a position where they're going to want to win out, especially with the way Philly's been playing and with the way the Commanders and the Giants are still the Giants are in the playoffs right now. The Commanders are on the outside looking in, but Cowboys get Houston, Jacksonville, Philly, Tennessee, Washington. I do feel a little bit better about Mike White's schedule, but ultimately, like I probably stick with Dak as your backup, man. So it's very close though, but not stupid per se. Smokey, I would go with Rachaad White over Pacheco, but both are perfectly fine starts. I think White just brings some more PPR upside, but Pacheco's look good. Just a little bit of a tough matchup. Gabe, Fournette or Pierce? I definitely go Fournette. I don't like Dameon Pierce against the Cowboys at all. Bad game script for him. One of these game scripts where the Texans are going to be playing from behind, and just a bad matchup in general. If you start Pierce, you're crossing your fingers for an early touchdown and a slip-up drive by the Cowboys defense, or you're hoping for some garbage time points. And I just really worry about the Texans' output today offensively. Duran, start one. Cooper, James Cook, Michael Carter, Davis. It's James Cook or Corey Davis for me. I'd probably go Cook, but it's very, very close. Worried about Cooper today. Trust your gut there, man. Everlast, do I start Fant or Cade Otton? I want to go Cade Otton, but I probably just go Noah Fant because it is realistically a tough matchup for Cade Otton. But he has looked like a player that Tom Brady wants to target overall, so it's definitely close. It's definitely close. But then you had like week 12 against Cleveland where Cade Otton just completely disappeared, But 10 targets last week for Otton against the Saints, who have played well against opposing tight ends, one of the better teams in the league, right up there with the San Francisco 49ers, who he gets today. So it's like, it's just tough because then you look at the Rams in week 9, he had 17.8 points. They played very well against opposing tight ends too. So I still think Fant is worth starting. It's just a tough matchup. Then Noah Fant, 6.4 or more fantasy points in his last 4 starts, 14.2 or more in 2 of those starts. A touchdown last week against the Rams, and he gets the Panthers. So I think both are pretty good starts. I might lean Cade Otton. Like that's what my heart wants, but my gut is telling me Noah Fant. So like I always say, trust your gut, follow your conviction, man. Tough calls here, as we're 1 week away from the fantasy playoffs. Orac, Corey Davis or Bam Knight? Tough. I'd probably go Bam Knight, but it's super close. I was kind of off of Knight. Now I feel like I'm kind of leaning back towards Knight. I think Corey Davis is fine here as long as it's PPR, though. Both hold some risk, though. Lucky Bird, what's up? Barkley or D-Hop? Both are phenomenal starts. Like, you really can't go wrong. Either of these guys can outscore each other. Relatively tough matchups on paper for both these guys, but like I just don't care. The volume for both of them is amazing. you really can't go wrong here. If you're worried, the one thing I would point out is if you're worried about Barkley's neck injury, which honestly could have just been one of these things where they're reporting it all week to kind of throw off the Eagles' game plan potentially. I don't know how serious it is at the end of the day, but it's just so close, man. You really can't go wrong. Who do you feel better about, man? Both are phenomenal starts. I mean, like, literally, D-Hop's been getting, like, top 5 volume since he's been back, and Barkley is a top 5 running back. So, both are great starts for you, man. You can't go wrong. Gabe Fournette is playing the Niners. That's completely true, but, like, you look at last week, right? The Saints have played pretty well against running backs going into last week. They were, like, the number 8 defense against opposing running backs from a fantasy perspective. And the benefit to both Rachaad White and Lenny Fournette is that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers continue to play from behind and need to throw the football. And what you get out of that is you get a lot of dump offs. Like, they just, they don't have the craziest offense in terms of their play calling. You get a lot of dump offs to both Fournette and Rachaad White overall. So even in a tough matchup, I'm not as concerned about these two running backs on the ground. 7 targets for Fournette last week, 8 targets for Rachaad White last week. So as long as it's PPR, I don't worry about Leonard Fournette. If it's not PPR, you can consider Pierce, but you're just like really crossing your fingers that Pierce scores an early touchdown on a faulty drive by the Cowboys, or he gets some garbage time action and scores a touchdown then. But I would personally, if it's my roster, I would take the risk with Fournette. Feel like it's less risky than Pierce. Bryce Evans or Hollywood? I go Hollywood. We got you, Lucky Bird. It's super close call there, man. Super tough. Yeah, Gabe, I really worry about Dameon Pierce today, man. Fantasy Dog, good to see you, bro. Good luck to you today, my guy. Appreciate you stopping in. And that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. There is your Week 14 Fantasy Q&A final stream for the week. Final hour stream. Good luck to you guys today. 1 o'clock games kicking off in less than a minute. You guys go enjoy some football. Don't let fantasy get too much in the way. Enjoy your Sunday. Have some fun. Be safe. Watch some great football. Eat some good food. I appreciate you guys, man. Shout out to all the new subscribers who joined the Catch fam today. I appreciate you guys so much. And I appreciate all you guys for coming out today, talking fantasy. Appreciate all the fantasy questions, keeping the fantasy conversation going in the chat. Appreciate you guys so much, man. Everything that you guys do for the community. Another great week in the books. Week 14 is here. Good luck to you guys. Hope you guys kill it today, man. Fantasy playoffs start next week. I can't believe how fast this season has gone by. Stillbird, Devonta Smith, Kirk, Jamal Williams, or Rachaad White. Lots of good starts here. I'd probably go Christian Kirk, but I really like Devonta Smith. I think Jamal Williams and Rachaad White and Hollywood are all good starts, but Kirk and Devonta Smith give you the most upside. All are good starts, though, Stober. All are really good starts. But in the flex, we're going to try and go for that upside. Devonta Smith or Christian Kirk for me, man. So, guys, hit that like button on the way out. Hit that subscribe button if you tuned in and you're new to the channel. Check out all the links down below if you're new to the channel. Make sure to join our Discord. Make sure to follow us on Instagram. And that'll do it, guys. Good luck to you guys today. Appreciate you guys, man. Love you guys. Love this community. Love the Catch fam. Everyone have a great Sunday. I will talk to you guys in the waiver wire chat later tonight. And I'll talk to you guys on live stream tomorrow. So, appreciate you guys, man. With that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the Catch.